All right, here we go. The first episode of Adulting and Afraid. I am super excited to educate. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is credit reports and just defining what a credit report is. I know to some of you, you probably are shaking your head thinking, oh my gosh, this is so basic. What? I don't need to learn this. But what's interesting is how many people just don't know what a credit report is. So if you already know what a credit report is, you can stop now and jump to episode 2 because we're going to go into other things during episode 2. But just as a quick definition of a credit report and a quick overview of that, let me tell you a little quick story. So my sister went through a divorce a long time ago. I was pretty young when that happened. And I remember when she came home and moved back in with us, my mom and her were talking, and I just overheard the conversation, and it was frustrating because she says, oh my gosh, my ex is going to destroy my credit. And I'm like, well, okay, what the freak is a credit report? So I didn't search. I just was like, I'm stupid. I have no idea what a credit report was. But in my defense, I was just a teenager, like a young teenager. So I had the opportunity at about 14 and a half, 15 years old to jump in and be in the mortgage industry. And I had an opportunity to learn really quickly what a credit report is and what it can do to you if you don't properly take care of it. So as a definition of a credit report, it is basically your job is to borrow money and pay it back. So the creditor that you borrow money from is going to give your payment history information to what is called a credit bureau. And that credit bureau is going to grade you based off of how many creditors are out there and how well you've paid your bills. So let me put this into an example. So I decide I'm going to go get a car loan. And so I go to my local bank and I apply for a car loan. And they come back and they say, you're approved because you're cool and you got approved in my scenario. And they say, okay, you can borrow this $10,000 and your monthly payment is going to be $250 per month. And the first payment's going to be due on the 15th of September. Let's just say that. So fast forward a little bit of time. Here comes September 15th. I pay my monthly payment. 30 days goes by, and that information that the banking institution has about your $10,000 loan with the $250 payment is now going to show on your credit report as a loan that you owe, that you've made one payment on time. So basically you have 30 days of credit at that point. And the more credit lines you have becomes what's called credit depth. And there's a happy medium with how many lines of credit you have open. And we're going to go into that with just, later episodes down the line. But in the event, let's fast forward a year, you still have your $10,000 loan. Now the principal balance is a little bit lower because you've been making your payments, but you fell into hard times. And on your 12th car payment of $250, you just decided not to pay it. So when that payment comes and goes as being due and it doesn't get made, the banking institution is going to actually report to the credit reporting agencies and say, hey, this payment wasn't made within the 30-day window it was required to be made in. So we're going to just go ahead and say you were 30 days late. So here's the problem with that. You have brand new credit. Them saying, hey, you're going to make your payment on time and you haven't, now your credit scores are going to drop. So a credit report is defined as how many lines of credit have you opened, how much do you owe, how much is your monthly payment, and it's just an overall picture of how well do you make your payments. And based off of that, a credit score is issued and you are graded in a lot of things in your life based off of a credit score. What's interesting is, years ago, insurance didn't necessarily care about a credit report. Now insurance companies pull a credit report to see where you're at. My theory is they have this client that has impeccable credit scores and paying their bills on time. Maybe they're rated better because of their ability to pay their bills on time and their credit scores being higher. Where you have somebody who maybe isn't paying their bills, their credit report is showing lower credit scores, they're not making their payments, that makes an insurance company just a little bit nervous that you're not going to pay your premiums. Maybe you're a little bit more reckless in your personal life because you're not paying your bills, so it puts them into a little bit of a liability. Credit scores dictate your life. There's different models of credit scores. We're going to go into that a little bit down the line and explain that. The greatest thing about credit and being educated about credit is you have a clean slate when you start. You are at a zero. You are a nothing. So when you turn 18 and you went somewhere to pull a credit report, they're going to pull up and say you are a nothing. You have a zero. You don't even exist in the credit world, which it's just awesome because you have an opportunity to just be financially smart. So I decide I'm going to get a new line of credit. I want to make sure I have good credit scores. That really needs to be our goal. So obtaining a new credit report score is very critical, and you want to do it quickly when you turn the age of 18 because the faster you get credit, doors open. There's just opportunities that come by you having a credit report and a credit score. So the basic gist of what a credit report is I borrowed money. I was told I had to pay this much per month to pay back that money that I borrowed. And I did it. And I did it on time. And I didn't run away from my obligations. I actually just took it upon myself to be responsible. And with that, your credit report can be established in a really good way. So take that definition of the credit report and run with it. I borrowed money. I said I'm going to pay it back with this amount of money per month, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make sure I stay on top of that. And with that being the case, after time, multiple credit lines are opened, you're going to have 3 different credit scores and be able to just excel in society. So that's my quick first episode of how to understanding what a credit report even is. And I'm just excited that you took the time to listen to this, and I hope that you will take notes throughout this because there are going to be some basic things that we talk about, but for the most part, I have a lot of insight on how to establish your credit report and really be set up for success. So with that being said, I'm going to jump out on this really short episode and let you guys go and take your knowledge of what a credit report is as basically this. I borrowed money. It reports to a report to tell me that I paid that money back on time with the right payment. And so there you have it. Let's go out and be adults and not be afraid.